Hi, I'm Al McRobbie at Salig Company, and welcome to our overview of Elexol products. Elexol is an Australian company that we've been working with for many, many years, and they make a range of input-output controller modules and accessories. And that isn't all they make. We're going to look at some of their product line here today. If you don't see what you need here, give me a call and let me know what you need, and I can try to advise you on that. But basically, the company has been named Elexol for many, many years, and they're changing their name, or they've started to change their name to Tempero Systems. And they're in a mode right now where they're going to be rebranding the boards and actually bringing out some newer products throughout the year 2017. And they've asked me just to mention that in this little exercise that we're doing today. Well, basically, what they make is a number of different input-output control systems that have any number of ports, each with 8 lines, and they can be either addressed or controlled individually through either an Ethernet connection or a USB connection. And on the easel right here, we have one of their USB boards, and you can see that there's 3 box headers on the side, and that's a typical thing that they have. And there's 10 pins on the box headers, and 2 of the pins are used for plus 5 volts and ground, and the other remaining 8 pins are for lines 0 through 7. So that gives you your 8 pins of control times 3 is the 24 that we base the product name on, the IO24 series. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief look at each one of the different products that they make. And basically they have several of the USB and Ether devices of different capabilities. And then they have a whole bunch of accessory boards that you can use along with those interface products so that you can do certain specific things. So right here, we've got an example of a garden variety USB IO24 board here, and that has the typical USB connection. They also have one that does not have box headers on it. It's still USB, but it's one that comes with its own little dip socket included in the cost, and this unit you can integrate into your own project that you're doing through this type of arrangement right here that you see. So that's an example that's 2 examples of the USB products. Then they make a number of Ethernet products, and these are a lot of fun to use. So here's an example of the Ether IO24R unit. I'm going to put it like this, just to keep everyone on their toes. Here's your box headers over here. You have a DC input, and you have your Ethernet RJ45 up there. And this particular board can do UDP type of addressing or Ethernet connection there. There is also a similar product right here that is for integrating into your own system. So this is actually an Ethernet board here as well. Okay, then we continue on, and we've got the similar type of board except with even more sockets on it. Here's one here. Here's an example right here, which is the IO72. Okay, so what they've done is they've taken an IO24 type of board here and they've just expanded out, so you've got even more sockets that you can connect with right there. Okay. What can you connect to? They make a whole range of different accessories. And of course, you want to turn on something. You want to control something remotely. Here's a board right here, which is called their 8-channel relay board. Here it is right here. And it connects to one of the ports through this box header down here. It needs some external power to drive all the relays. And this is where you put your power and your load connections up here on these terminal strips right there. So that's an example of that. The similar board is called a combo board. So it's got a relay output and a readback input side. Okay, so this is a 4 and 4 got 4 relays and 4 optically isolated channels on this side over here. So if you're controlling a load and you want to make sure that it's actually working, you can configure something in your circuit so that it produces a voltage back here that this unit can read over here, and then it can send information back to you telling you that the load actually did switch on or off and it's working properly. So that's what the combo board is good for. Then there's a number of other boards. One thing that I wanted to point out is that the TCP type of boards can also have their ports configured either as I/O or I2C or as SPI. And here's an example of a board here that you can do that with. Okay, this is the analog I/O board, and as I said, it's controlled through, this particular board is controlled through SPI. And what it has is it has an 8-channel A to D converter on one side, and it has a 2-channel D to A on the other side. Okay, and so just setting up some jumpers here helps you configure the board. All right, so that's what that can be used for. Another SPI board is the GPIO, and this requires the SPI connection down here, and it's an expander, so you get 4 channels, and it has configuration jumpers to set as to what you want to do with each of the 4 channels right there. Now, the loads are on the regular I/O boards switch 0 and 5 volt levels, so they're TTL. If you need to do something that's different than that, they provide 2 different boards. This one here is called the ULN 2803. And what it has is it has a chip on it that's got some Darlington transistors on it. And the 2803 is the name of the chip. It's the number on the chip. This one can do 50 volts at 500 milliamps. Okay, so you would put your power supply in here, put your loads here, and there's a ground at one end. This is controlled directly by an I/O style port. So remember, 50 volts and 500 milliamps. The other board is the ULN 2065 switchboard. And this one can switch 80 volts and 1.5 amps. Okay? Now on both of these boards, the thing to do is to download the data sheet for the chip itself and observe all the limitations of operation of that chip according to its data sheet. All right? That's an important point. Okay, so let's continue on. We've got a voltage translator board right here, and this one has a number of jumpers on it, and you can change the voltages from 3.3 to 5.0 or backwards, 5 to 3.3, depending on how you have the jumpers set. So that's all there is to that board. You notice, let me put this back. Notice that you've got 2 ports. So one of the ribbon cables goes in here, and then the ribbon cable goes off to whatever it is you need to drive. Okay, we're getting down here to the very end. Last one, or the next one rather, is port status board. And basically what this does is it just tells you through LEDs what the status of the port is. Each line, is it high or low? It also offers some test points off here to the side, so if you need to get on any of these lines, you're watching what's going on, then that's a convenient way to do it. So that's what that board's for. The next board is the connector LED board, and what this does simply is it provides a terminal strip output instead of a box header. So you come in with a box header from your ribbon cable from your board, and then you go up through here to these terminal outputs, these terminal board outputs. It has a set of LEDs on it so you can see what's going on, but it also has provisions for either a pull-up or a pull-down resistor pack. So you can see the empty slot right in there. You'd have to get that separately and then put it in depending on what you want to do with it. Okay. This concludes part 1 of our overview of network interface modules. Please contact me if you have any questions about the products you've seen here. And our next program is going to be a brief demonstration. Thanks for watching.